5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. I think that we all agree the purpose for all of us, and there certainly are good intentions all around. It's the unintended consequences that we have to worry about, because we all want the economy to grow. We want to create jobs. There was a meltdown. There were a lot of reasons for that meltdown. A lot of the rules and regulations simply weren't enforced. There was a lack of proper oversight and enforcement of rules that existed. And I think the pendulum has swung so far the other direction that we can be over-regulating and hurting industry. Very quick question, Ms. Hendrickson. Do you have an approximate cost to your firm, specifically your firm, that you'll have to, or you would expect to pay for compliance, to be fully compliant with the Dodd-Frank Act?
At the moment, I expect the cost to be between $350,000 and $500,000 for the first year. That's buying new software to do trading, to monitor trading activity, and of course, we don't do anything in the public markets. It is to hold legended, worthless securities by a third-party custody agent, and then, of course, to hire a third compliance officer to certify valuations of our companies, which are already looked at by 2 nationally known accounting firms.
Thank you. Mr. Zucbrod, my Business Risk Mitigation and Price Stabilization Act, the newly termed AIG Act, which that's pretty good, I have to admit. I did get a chuckle out of that. That's good. That's very good. End users. Will end users, in your opinion, just in your opinion, migrate to markets that operate under a less punitive regulatory environment if they're not exempt from clearing requirements?
I think end users would certainly evaluate opportunities to ensure that they can operate efficiently and manage their risks efficiently. But I think, I think the message that we'd like to give is that we're simply looking for clarification on something that Congress and this committee intended all along, which is that there would not be a margin requirement on end users. That's something that was part of in addition to containing systemic risk and increasing transparency in this market, Congress came together and said that we also need to ensure that end users are not subject to the salient economic requirements of this act. And
can we just, if I could, just to put this in perspective, because I think when you talk about the numbers, it scares some people. $600 trillion is the overall market, derivatives market, notional number. Is that somewhere in the realm of reason?
That's right. The $600 trillion notional amount is not a measure of risk in the market. It's simply a quantification of the what we call the notional amount. A more appropriate measure of risk is the market value of the transactions. And once you net offsetting positions, once you contemplate transactions that have been cleared through central clearing, currently about a third of the entire derivatives market is already subject to central clearing, and that will increase substantially as a result of this act. If you contemplate other such mitigation factors, that $600 trillion amount compresses to something less than $2 trillion in market value, which is a much more appropriate measure of risk.
Will the growth of clearing reduce systemic risks or increase systemic risks, in your opinion?
We, the coalition, supported both the Act's objective of increasing transparency by subjecting every single derivatives trade to a trade reporting requirement so that regulators could have information on where market risks lie. We also did support increased collateralization, whether through clearing or otherwise. amongst systemically significant users of derivatives. And so I think that indeed the Act will contribute toward mitigation of systemic risk and reduce materially, if not eliminate, the derivatives market's contribution to the too big to fail problem.
Thank you. 30 seconds, Mr. Chairman? One last question, or? Okay. Mr. Silvers, I see that you're a big proponent of Dodd-Frank, and it appears from your testimony that Dodd-Frank really zeroes in on the heart of the problems that caused the meltdown. Simply yes or no, is that accurate?
Mostly.
Okay. Is there anywhere in here that it mentions Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac?
That's why I answered mostly.
Okay, thank you. Thought that point needed to be made, Mr.